Whether you're banking on your phone or ordering dinner through an app, digital business isn't some far-off concept. It's completely woven into the fabric of our everyday lives. So let's really get into it and unpack what that term actually means. Right, we use it all the time, but what exactly is a digital business? You hear the term thrown around constantly, and there's a ton of confusion, especially when people use it as if it's the same thing as e-commerce. But as you're about to see, they are two very, very different things. Okay, so let's start with the big picture. Digital business is the giant umbrella that covers everything. You can think of it as the whole process of creating value, delivering that value, and exchanging it, all using digital tools. This wide-angle view is really the key to understanding its true impact. And here's what's so important about that definition. It goes way beyond just selling stuff online. I mean, think about a traditional brick-and-mortar store. If that store is using data to figure out its supply chain, or maybe machine learning to help customers find things, it has become a digital business, even if most of its sales still happen at a physical cash register. And this slide right here just nails the difference. E-commerce is the part that makes the sale. It's the sales engine. But digital business, that's the entire machine. It's the strategy, the operations, the customer service, the innovation, the whole shebang. So here's the bottom line. All e-commerce is a part of a digital business, but not all digital business has to involve e-commerce. So how in the world did we get here? This massive digital shift didn't just pop up overnight. Let's take a quick trip back in time and look at the historical roadmap, how this whole thing unfolded across 5 very distinct digital ages. It all kicks off back in Phase 1 with the birth of the World Wide Web. Then, in Phase 2, things get personal with mobile phones and social media. Phase 3 is when everything started talking to everything else, the Internet of Things. Right now, we are smack in the middle of Phase 4, which is all about massive data, super fast 5G, and of course, AI. And we are just on the doorstep of Phase 5, which is going to be defined by things like autonomous AI, quantum computing, and biotech. Now let's just zoom in on a really key moment here. The big deal in Phase 2 was the shift to what we call the read-write web. See, before this, the internet was pretty much a one-way street. You could read stuff, but you couldn't really add to it. Then, platforms like Wikipedia and Facebook came along and proved that regular users could create and share content on a massive scale. It completely changed the game. And we just lived through another one of those huge pivot points right in the middle of Phase 4. AI had been kicking around in labs for decades, right? But when OpenAI dropped ChatGPT in late 2022, AI went from a research project to a tool for literally everyone almost overnight. That single moment just hit the accelerator on digital transformation for the entire planet. Okay, so that's the history. Now let's switch gears and map out what the digital world looks like today. Who's actually exchanging value with whom in this incredibly complex ecosystem? Now, you're probably super familiar with the commercial models. B2C, that's you shopping on Amazon. B2B, that's a company using Salesforce. And C2C, like when you buy something on eBay. But that's only half the story. The administration models are just as important. Think about filing your taxes online. That's you, a citizen, interacting with the administration. Or even government agencies sharing data with each other, stuff that happens totally behind the scenes. So who connects all these different players? Well, that's where digital intermediaries come in. These are the platforms we use every single day. Uber, Airbnb, you name it. They don't own the cars or the apartments. Their entire value comes from one thing: coordinating the very complex dance between the people who have something and the people who want something. So how do they pull this off? Well, they're basically doing 5 critical jobs. First, they're a matchmaker. Then, they handle the money. A lot of times, they'll help with logistics and marketing too. And maybe the most important job of all, they build trust through things like reviews and ratings. They basically make a really complicated process simple, and that's what we pay them for. Okay, so with this crazy, complex landscape, what does a company actually need to do to win? Let's break down the modern playbook for success in the world of digital business. It pretty much boils down to these 4 key abilities. 1, you have to constantly innovate, especially with tools like AI. 2, you have to be flexible enough to pivot on a dime. 3, you need to be able to plug into other platforms and automate everything you can. And finally, and this might be the biggest one, you have to be absolutely obsessed with your customer and making things easy for them. Now, this idea is absolutely huge. It's called the network effect. Just think about WhatsApp or LinkedIn. The service is basically useless if you're the only one on it, but as more and more people join, its value just explodes for everyone. This makes it almost impossible for a new competitor to catch up, and it creates what's called a lock-in effect, where it's just too much of a pain for you to leave. But of course, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. Digital businesses are facing some major headwinds. You've got constant cybersecurity threats, from data breaches to ransomware. You've got the insane pace of technology, where some new invention can make your whole business obsolete overnight. And then there's the digital divide, the gap in who has access to this tech, which creates real challenges for any global company. So let's wrap this up by looking ahead. What's happening right now, and what's lurking just over the horizon? What trends and future shocks are shaping the next digital frontier? Well, we're already seeing a massive explosion in m-commerce, that's shopping on your phone, and social commerce, where you can buy something right inside an app like Instagram. Strategies like click and collect are blurring the line between the physical and online stores. And then you have technologies like blockchain, which are creating brand new ways to secure everything from payments to supply chain. And if we look a little further out, we get to quantum computing. Okay, hang with me here, because this one is a bit of a mind bender. A regular computer bit can be a 0 or a 1. That's it. A quantum qubit can be a 0, a 1, or both at the same time. This creates a processing power so massive it will one day be able to break every single form of encryption we currently use, forcing a complete redesign of digital security. And finally, we get to the really far-out stuff, the ultimate mashup of biology and technology, brain-computer interfaces, or BCIs, a direct link between our minds and the digital world. So this leaves us with a huge, kind of mind-blowing question to think about. If the whole point of digital business is to exchange value, how does that get redefined when the platform isn't in your hand, but is literally integrated with your thoughts? What even is a customer need when the line between a thought and a digital action completely disappears?